Hello, everyone, and welcome to another session of WizeGen live events. This one is a very, very interesting one. I have so many screens and so many things here. Okay, good, great. Welcome, everyone. My name is Misagh. I'm one of the co-founders of WizeGen. WizeGen is a online platform where we teach children how to navigate risky situations. We have a series of events to teach, especially parents, what they need to know about the most important things related to online safety for their children. And now in this event, we are going to talk about the probably most difficult question that every parent faces at around age 8, 9 to 12, 13. And that's actually the discussion between the parent and child where they need to decide if they're going to buy a phone for their child or not. So today we are going to talk about that, and we are going to give a very practical guide on this. As always, everything we discuss here is based off of our research. We are not child psychologists. We are not education and development experts. We are techies who are super passionate about this topic, and we just go deep into the weeds with understanding it from the academic and scientific perspective, and then present to you in these events our findings. So, spoiler alert, it's not about age. The decision about the first phone for the children, it's not about age. It's a readiness question. So let's dive in and explain why. So, basically 53% of children by the age of 11 own a smart phone or a smart device. But it's very interesting because at the same time, 68% of the parents think children should be at least 12 to get their first smart device. Now, this means that parents are under enormous pressure, obviously from their children, but also because they don't want their child to feel missed out or basically left out in like the social events that they are part of. And basically parents are forced to decide on this. They're not ready, parents are not ready, children are not ready. And the main mistake that every parent in this situation makes is that they treat giving a phone immediately synonymous to giving like access to internet and social media and apps and everything at the same time. Now, again, it should be obvious, but we as parents typically don't understand this, and we miss on this. So we have to understand that these are separate discussions. Owning a device versus access and basically social media and apps and WhatsApp and Snapchat and all of these things are completely separate topics and discussions. But when you give your child a phone, it's just not the phone and it's not just a device. It's a portable sort of access where follows the child everywhere. They don't understand it initially, but they immediately feel the pressure. But at some point, basically, it's like part of their life. And it's super personal, quickly ties into their identity, and they start to form their digital and real life identity as like one. And one of the problems is that you start to lose visibility over the private stuff that they consider private. And this is mainly because when you had like a shared family device, or they would use your phone, they would basically do stuff and you would be able to see it. But as soon as it's a separate device, things will get difficult. And another thing is that we give the device to the children, and commercial aspect of all of the companies in the digital life of your children does not stop with the notifications, with like after school stuff. Constantly they feel under the pressure to be available, to respond, to be part of this, let's say, ecosystem. Now, we mentioned at the beginning that the question of owning a device is not a question about age, it's a question about readiness. And here are like top 5 things that you can consider with respect to your child's readiness when you want to give them their device. Number 1, and by far the most important one, is sleep. Which means that can they keep the device out of the bedroom at night? And by the way, this should be a non-negotiable, guys. For until foreseeable in their teenage life and their future, you should always have like this rule that during the night, phones out of the bedroom. You cannot even use for charging inside your bedroom and things like that. But the question is, can you do that without a fight? Because it's not about, yeah, I mean, my child is able to do that, but at some point parents get tired of the fight and say, okay, this night it's okay, take it. The second part is that honesty. Do you, and by honesty, it's not only about honesty, it's about like they being comfortable as well. Do they come to you if something weird happens, right? So this is a very important one. Another one, self-regulation. Can they stop a preferred activity without a meltdown? Imagine they're just scrolling, doom scrolling on TikTok or on Reels and stuff like that, or even playing Roblox on their phone. And if the time is up and they have to just basically give back the device, would there be a meltdown, or is it like a normal conversation? And with respect to peer pressure, how far will they go? And these are like, by the way, there are studies, there are like tools that you can, on our website, there are like some fun tools that you can use and see how they might react to peer pressure. But it's a very important question. Can they say no to their peers in important when something important is happening or being asked from them? And the question of privacy, do they understand what they send online to friends or to groups or to whatever their digital footprint is going to last forever and it's going to be there forever? Do they understand this concept? Do they comprehend it completely? So going back to the discussion of when is the devices given, is it like full access or what should we do? The decision is definitely not binary. But the way we see it is that it should be like a progression from device to messaging to open web, meaning access to internet and things like that, and then social media. So step one is definitely not just all these things together. And most parents usually skip to level 4. They give a device, it's an iPhone, it has everything, all the apps, all the games, everything all at once. Now, this is a thing that you need to be mindful about. Our suggestion is first give the device. By that, you are basically just giving them calls and SMS, literally basic stuff with like GPS tracking possibilities. In the Netherlands, there are a couple of really good companies. We are not affiliated with them. It's just like shout out to them. We love them. There is a company called One2Track. They provide smart watches, and this is extremely controlled. You basically wear this watch. The child wears this watch, and the child only can contact certain contacts, like for instance, both of the parents or parents and grandparents. And this is it. You know, they don't have access to any apps. They cannot send anybody anything else. Nobody else can call them. It's completely restricted. Very good stuff. It has GPS tracking, quite well designed, very chic in my opinion, very crafty. And they are basically, if they need you, they can find you. They don't even need a phone. Whereas generally speaking, in other countries, typically the first idea is to just give a device a full device. Now, messaging is next. We need to be mindful about this. There are lots of things. We actually discussed this in our previous events as well. Please do visit them. But WhatsApp and iMessage could be next, because obviously you need to be able to find them. And then internet access, obviously, with like certain controls in place on the phone. And then lastly, social media. So social media is the far end of the process. Now, like common mistakes, giving a smartphone is not going to solve the pressure issue. You have to basically be able to manage the stages that we just mentioned previously. Phone and social media are not synonymous. Relying on time limits is probably the worst thing that the majority of the parents are doing at the moment. We had like previously discussed this. If you just scroll through YouTube Shorts, it's like, say we have an hour and I scroll through like, I don't know, 100 or 150 YouTube Shorts. This is one thing. And another thing is to watch like 2 documentaries during that hour. These are vastly different things. And the reason that I mentioned this, we have a video on this in our previous events, but the reason I just mentioned this is that the majority of parents that we talk to, they are only using screen time control, and obviously some AI apps and cool things that restricts harmful stuff. But screen time is really a weak metric, guys. You have to understand that, and you have to be very mindful about it. Overnight privileges should be very restricted, like no bedroom charging, no overnight device. These are non-negotiables. You never should basically give the child like green light on these things. And even that once you do that, could be very harmful. And we have a couple of videos on that as well, by the way. And there should be like extreme good alignments between the parents, guardians, whoever basically is responsible for the, let's say, safety of the child. Everybody should align on this, because children are very good. Sorry, children are very good in exploiting these things. So I'm gonna go to the next one. 3 rules that you should teach your children. Very important to teach them that they should immediately tell you if something feels off, and that's the most important one. There are studies on this, and typically the reason that they are not telling you is that they feel like they will have a problem, or they will be basically grounded. They will have like restrictions. If you treat them well, they will come to you every time. Phone outside bedroom is another important one, and nothing private gets shared without permission. The last one, let me just explain briefly. It's very important to, obviously, we always try to teach our children not to share their personal stuff online, but it's also good to tell your children that they should not share something that is related to somebody else without their permission. So if you are sharing a friend's photo with another friend, you have to tell your child, listen, you have to have permission if you are doing this. And as soon as these things basically are engraved in their mind, it creates a network effect, and obviously we have like a safer community. We have discussed this. I'm not gonna bore you with the details, but just basically do these things in stages. Typically, like contact only first, like as I mentioned, be able to just call or message. Then approved messaging apps, then agreed apps and GPS, and then finally, before going to the next level, do a reality check. Is the sleep intact? Is honesty still intact? Are they aligned with your rules and regulations? Are there meltdowns? Are there any episodes that you are and very, let's say, frustrated with? So these are the things that you need to be aware of. Now, let's do a recap and give you the key takeaways that you need to have from this session. So it's not about age, definitely. It's about readiness. And the device should have like a separate concept from like full access to the internet. You have to do this in stages. Contact only first, then let's say approve that messaging apps, etc., etc. Very important 3 rules that we discussed. Everything that is weird or let's say funny or problematic, immediately tell. You're not going to be in trouble. Phone outside bedroom, nothing private, sharing without permissions. And then start basically checking in with your children and understanding if they are still in good progress with their device, and then give them more privileges. So you remember, you are not protecting them from a phone. You are basically preparing them for a world that runs on one. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a wonderful day and have a wonderful evening to our friends in Europe. Talk to you soon.